So, good evening and good morning to some of you. Welcome to 1ADC's flagship podcast, Conversations with Changemakers. Super stoked to have everyone on board. So, this is sort of a special episode for us where we are showcasing some of the presidents of some of our best performing branches across the world. So, yeah, happy everybody's here. So, before we get started, I'd like a quick round of introduction from everyone. So, yeah, anyone can go first. Samantha, Stephanie, Beatrice, just go ahead.
Yeah, I can go first. Hi, everyone listening. My name is Samantha Parr. I'm the president or the former president of 1ADC UCLA. I just finished up my term as president a few weeks ago. So just finishing up with this podcast essentially. But I'm a third year student going into my fourth year at UCLA studying political science. I'm originally from Northern California, but go to school in Southern California. I'm actually in New York right now for an internship. So it's not too early for me over here, but still morning. So yeah, happy to be here and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Yes. Stephanie or Beatrice?
Yeah,
Yeah, Stephanie.
sure, great. I'll go next. So I'm Stephanie. I am the previous president of the Ghent branch in Belgium. I just finished up my master's in business engineering and data analytics at Ghent University, and I'm now doing another master's at the University of Oxford in social data science.
Amazing, amazing. All right. Uh, yeah, Beatrice.
Hello, everyone. I'm Beatrice. I'm the former president of 1ATDC UGM in Indonesia. Right now, I'm a fourth year student in economics, but I'm not in Indonesia. Right now, I'm doing an exchange in Seoul National University in South Korea. So
Okay.
it is a bit late. So good evening, everyone. It's very delighted. I'm very delighted to be here.
Thank you. Thank you, Beatrice. And thank you for being accommodating of everybody's time. So thank you so much time. Thank you so much for that. So amazing. So I think one thing that I noticed is everybody has left their position as one ADC president is what I can see. So is that like some internal thing where you have like a specific timeline that you need to be like just for a year, or how does it work?
Yeah, so for ours, we have the board and the president and the exec. Everyone kind of it follows like a calendar, like a school year calendar. So at the
Okay.
end of the school year, we elect the next president, the next board, and then they have like the summer to kind of prepare for the school year ahead. We have
Oh.
this transition period, so we have like maybe 4 weeks of transition towards
Mhm.
the end of the school year where the old people train the new people. So we just officially handed over everything like a week or two ago, I think. So it's relatively new, but they're all doing a great job already. Like I can already tell that they're like hitting the ground running, which is awesome. So I don't know about the rest of you guys though, what that process looks like.
No, I think for us it's kind of the same. I was a president like last year, so
Okay.
my second successor right now has just been elected.
Okay.
And for us, we also have like a kind of a transition period over the summer, where we basically team up the people in the previous roles together with their successors, and then have them like exchange tips, and also have like a huge like board exchange and a kind of like a cool board meeting where we do like a team building and do some fun stuff. We went to a theme park last time.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Where was this theme park
In Belgium, in
in
Belgium.
Belgium?
So it was
Oh,
a great way for us as a board to end the year, and for the new board to get to know each other as like board members and kind of celebrate that what they will going to be doing like the next year.
that sounds
That
fun.
sounds very exciting. Yeah, very
It,
fun.
Exciting.
it actually was so much
Um,
fun.
as for me, it was actually 10 months ago the day I finished my term, so it has been quite a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're about to elect like a new candidate after this,
Hmm.
probably around July. I think the handover process was pretty similar. We did like for our branch, we did an overnight camp, like a almost like a leadership camp where we did like
Hmm.
transfer knowledge, and then the candidate they would also present their ideas and plan for the next year. But yeah, we did a lot of discussion over that night and a couple of weeks prior to that. But like that would be like the final night to select the next candidate.
Got it, got it. Interesting. So, how long has everyone been a part of 180DC? And how has the journey been so far for you guys? Not as a
Um,
president, but just like
in general.
as a student in 180DC. Yeah.
I've been in my branch for 3 years. So I started out as like a consultant. Then the next year I was people director, which in our branch is the person who's responsible for the application process and for like
Mhm.
internal HR. And then my final year, my third year, I was the president.
Nice, amazing.
Yeah, I also have been in for 3 years now. I joined my first year at UCLA as a consultant also, and then last year, my second year in the club, I was the director of external events. So I planned all of our firm events, like our firm visits and our on-campus workshops, like case comp, things like that. And then this past year, I was the president. So.
For
Interesting.
me, it was 2 years. So I was my first year I was a consultant, so project analyst, and then for our branch we actually divided into two term.
Mm-hmm.
So the first term I was a project analyst with my first client, and then the second term I was a project leader
Mm-hmm.
with another client with a new client, and then after that, I actually originally I applied for the role of director of consulting,
Okay.
but then the previous board asked for some sort of re-election, so
Mm-hmm.
they think that, oh, maybe you might try this position. And then
Okay.
I did a new sort of like pitch. I did another pitching deck for the president, and I became the president on my second year.
Interesting, interesting. So, what made you guys like choose 180? Like, is that like, did you like see some of your friends join in the club, or what motivated you to like be a part of 180?
Um, I'll start off, but for me, in secondary school, I did some volunteering for an organization,
Mm-hmm.
and then I went on to university, and I saw one ETDC presenting in one of the auditoria of one of my lectures, and they
Yeah.
were actually citing that they had done this project for the organization that I knew from secondary school, and I was like, oh my God, that's super cool because I knew that they were struggling with that kind of issue. So then I think I sent like an email to someone I knew from the branch at that moment, and he kind of took me under his wings and introduced me to the club. And I went to one of their openings events and I applied.
Amazing, amazing. Yes,
Yeah,
Samantha. Yeah.
for me, I'd kind of heard about 180 before I even got to UCLA. So
Mm-hmm.
when I was applying for schools, I noticed 180 kind of was a club that I kept reading about at different other schools I was applying to, and I thought it was interesting. And so, um, obviously, I knew that UCLA had a branch, and so I was looking forward to applying for it. And then when I met people in the club, when I got to school and like started learning about the process and everything, like, I feel like I just like was really drawn to the people and like the mission of the organization, I think more than any other club that I was even considering. And so I just like felt lucky that I got in and lucky that it all worked out because I feel like the club like very much aligned with kind of my own interests and kind of what I was
Mm-hmm.
looking for upon getting to college. So yeah, I think that I kind of had my eyes set on it for a while, so I'm glad that it worked out.
That's nice. That's nice. Yeah, Beatrice.
As for me, there's actually this one senior that I looked up to. She was a part of 180DC prior
Mm-hmm.
to me even before I even became like a student in my university. She was already a part of 180DC. And then she told me that, oh, it was actually very nice because you could apply your theories that you learn. Because I was studying economics.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty nice to actually apply economics beyond the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And then the great thing is that we get to work with people, like actual people,
Yeah.
and then help them and empower so many like at least for our branch, it was more of like youth and social enterprises. So it was very nice because you get to do the work, but then you also contribute to the society. Like I would say like it's a very win-win type of thing to do.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting you guys say that, like, helping out people and empowerment is like probably like the ethos of 180, let's say. So, what does like social impact really mean to all of you? And how has that understanding of social impact evolved through your 180 journey?
Maybe for me, initially, I definitely view it only like as doing good, just
Yeah.
simply as volunteering, doing charity and stuff.
Yeah.
But then, after becoming part of 180, I realized that my perspective has definitely changed significantly.
Hmm.
I now see it as more of a creating measurable and lasting change, with a broader system. So,
Hmm.
like for example, in our case, it would be like SDGs and stuff. And then I've also learned that social impact could definitely be built through strategy and then planning and then lots of data and a sustainable operation. So it's not just passion, but it's a combination of those things.
Yep.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to what Beatrice is saying. For me, it also started as kind of a noble ideal in my head, but then when I joined 180, I really saw that it could be transformed into some like reality and like real life impact. And in our branch in Ghent, we have like three pillars that we try to have like a holistic impact on. And the first is like impactful change. So like, of course, throughout our projects or deliverables. But then the other two pillars really made me reason about, okay, that makes sense why that's a really impactful pillar. It's like the second one would be like lifelong skills. We empower students, and I think that's also very, very impactful. We are kind of supporting like leaders of tomorrow and giving them a lot of like opportunities to develop their
Yeah.
skills, to come into contact with amazing people that could empower themselves as well. And the last one is lasting friendships. I do think that our branch had a very exceptional community, like I've heard from Beatrice and Samantha as well. And I made some of the best friends that I will probably stay in touch with like throughout my whole life. So that's also like something very impactful to me.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what both of you were saying about how I think that at first, before I got to college and before I kind of started doing this kind of hands-on work with 180, I kind of had this idea that social impact was this kind of esoteric, idealistic thing that, it would like change the world. And like not say like not that like things that we do when it isn't changing the world, but it's like kind of seeing the ability to like do important and impactful things regardless of like what you previously thought impact meant. And I feel like for me that definitely looks like kind of doing things for others that without even knowing them necessarily. Like a lot of what we do at 180 is like it impacts people that we don't even know. We may never even meet. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's kind of what it has come to mean for me is like you still feel passionate and motivated to do the work even without seeing like meeting every single person that is
Mhm.
benefiting from the work that you're doing, and knowing that it's like reaching people. That's I think what impact means for me now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also like, as a student, like, I think we have like some sort of limitations on like how much we can actually like put in the impact like as a student. So in that way, like 180C is like a great medium for you to, if you have the passion, the, if you have the drive to, make a change in the world, like this is like probably one of the best platforms you can get as a student. So, having said that, like, um, obviously, like doing all this like takes some time, effort, and motivation to get that going with all the academics and your professional life in the side. So, what kept you guys motivated? And all of you are now, I mean, have now like passed out as like branch president. So you have like evolved to like to the ends of it, the ends of your brand. So what made or what motivated all of you to like keep going with all the stuff that's going around in your personal and professional lives?
For me, definitely the people, the friends that I've made in 180. As a board member, being part of such a impactful pe team of people kind of taking action, going towards that same shared goal, cheering each other up, even if you're having like a very difficult finals week, showing up together at events, just knowing that you're always supported, and able to help out each other. I feel like that was the one thing that kept me going, even through the harder times of being a board member.
Yeah, I would totally agree, Stephanie. I think that I like it was very motivating to see kind of the work that we were doing as a board kind of benefit the members and see them engaging with all of our events and seeing them growing professionally, becoming closer as friends, like knowing that the work that we were putting in and like the hard work that was that it was actually benefiting people in our club, I think was like very motivating for me. And I really do feel like the people kind of make the organization, especially in UCLA is like a huge school, and so it's nice to have kind of a tighter community of people. And so, as much as we can do to kind of provide that sense of community for a subset of people on campus, like that was really kind of motivating um, for me when I was president. And just even continuing on like next year when I'm an advisor, I hope to kind of still be able to at least like reach out to younger members and make them feel welcome and everything. So that's kind of been a motivating factor for me for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So what you're saying, like sometimes we would get like compliments from younger members being like, "Oh, I've never felt so at home in
Mhm.
in an organization," and I felt like that was the best compliment that you could get, and it made all of the work that you're doing as a board so worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with both Stephanie and Samantha. Both, I would say it's the people both within the organization and outside the organization as well. Because within, of course, we have people development, and then it is true. It's the people that made the organization. But then we also meet people outside of our organization along the way, like new clients or partners and stuff, where we do collaborations and stuff. It was very nice to actually know that, oh, the stuff that we did, it did actually contribute to them. It made change to their lives,
Mhm.
even no matter how small it is. But to know that we actually could help, it was actually very nice and motivating. Like it definitely helped us to grow and uh uplift the communities more, both
Mhm.
within and outside.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, I'm sure like that would be like the best feeling. Like to see like people succeed after you, like see like people under your watch doing well, making an impact. I'm sure like that's like the best feeling for sure. So like and also like coming into like how the atmosphere and like the culture in your colleges work. So tell me like couple of strategies that helped you build a strong team culture. I think Samantha mentioned like a tight knit community. So for a tight knit community to even like exist, you need to have a good team culture, bonding, and everything that comes along with it. I think Stephanie, those guys are going to like water parks and stuff. So that's interesting. So what strategies did you guys like put through to build a strong team culture in your branch?
Yeah, I think we have a really strong culture of kind of mentorship in our branch. So
Mhm.
we have this whole kind of, it's called the Big Little system. It used to be called Mentor Mentee, but we kind of wanted to rebrand it to be a bit more casual and organic.
Mhm.
But yeah, we have this Big Little system that we pair up like an older member with a new member, kind of both for professional and personal reasons.
Mhm.
Um, and then within that, we kind of create these, we call them families. So we kind of pair up like big little pairings. We put them kind of in like bigger groups, and then we have like groups of like three or four pairings, and then we kind of encourage the families to hang out and get to know each other like in kind of those like group settings. We also just have like a lot of socials both kind of on campus like in people's apartments, or we'll go off campus to the beach, or we have an annual retreat, usually like in San Diego or Palm Springs, somewhere down in Southern California.
Mhm.
um, so yeah, we do definitely kind of these smaller socials. We do the big retreat. And I think just in general, like I think that our club culture is very interconnected. Like people are genuinely friends and
Mhm.
hang out outside of 180 and outside of projects. We have this fun Slack. We have this channel in our Slack that's called Get Food. And so people
Okay.
just like post photos of themselves getting lunch and coffee and maybe at hours of the day that shouldn't be discussed in this meeting.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so there's people have fun and are definitely friends, which I think makes people more motivated to do the work because like they're held accountable by the fact that they're all like actually friends outside of 180. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. For our branch, I can totally agree with what Samantha has said. We also hosted a lot of like socials, team buildings. We often volunteered together. We participated in like university-wide competitions, like soccer competitions. So that was like we always tried to aim to always have like a lot of fun. But I also agree that there's like we have a dedicated role within our board of the people director, which is kind of like a trusted contact point for each individual,
Hmm.
which makes it very easy for members to reach out to someone if they need help, if they need support, if they're not feeling well, and just to really make sure that everyone feels great in the group all the time, even though they're working on projects, and always have someone that's dedicated to be there to offer support. I love the UCLA idea of having a big little
Yeah.
system. We have like a buddy system throughout the application process where we have applicants who are able to ask questions to a board member, but maybe we should extend that to our whole working. I love that idea actually.
For our branch, we actually have like a motto. It was closer, abbreviation of collaborative, socially driven, excellent, and responsible. It was something that our senior decided to post, and then ever since then, it kind of stuck with us. So we did try to emphasize on those values, and then we also had again internal mentoring, just like mentioned previously. We did internal mentoring where then we had case competition between like each member, so they get to know each other, but then they could also learn about consulting more there. And then we
Hmm.
also did quite a lot of networking dinners,
Hmm.
where we did a lot of fun activity. Then I would say like one of the things that we also try to do is we did a performance report. So we have like 2 to 4 a year for the whole branch, and then for each division, and for each of the analysts. So through that, we actually have like a sort of like 360 feedback. That way we could hear about their issues and challenges, and then we could try to make it better. And then if there are any of our part that is not as good as that, we could also improve ourselves. I think it's very important to make sure that they're being heard and we listen, as well as we're being heard and they listen as well. So I think that definitely helped us to build like a strong team culture.
Amazing. I think, yeah, everyone has like different ideas implemented into their branch, which is like super interesting to hear for sure. And like, yeah, that's all the fun stuff. Now, like coming into something that, yeah, in your tenure as a 180C student and like a president, like what was one situation that you felt um, that was like super challenging and something that required a lot of effort, collaboration within your team, and how did you like get past it, like as a branch? So yeah.
One of the toughest challenges, I would say,
Hmm.
the one that we faced was simply just managing the intensity of our workload.
Okay.
Because we had lots of going. I'm pretty sure both Stephanie and Samantha would probably agree with this as well. But we had a lot of going on at once.
Hmm.
For example, our branch, 180 Gem, we had around 100-ish member.
Hmm.
And then we have client projects and internal initiatives, and then we have community events and then team development. So there are times where it became very easy for people to feel overwhelmed, even like even the boards. So um, the biggest issue was probably burnout and prioritization. We
Hmm.
wanted to do everything well, but then that meant we also needed to be more intentional about how we
Hmm.
allocate the resource that we had and the energy that we had. So we actually did like some sort of discussion, and then we decided that we have like a 60-40 structure. Like so we focus 60% on the external and then 40% on the internal. That way we try to be as efficient as we can. And then again, we did like the performance report, like the 360 degrees feedback report, which definitely helped us to assess the growth, but to keep everyone aligned and motivated as well. Yeah, I would say that would be for our branch.
Amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think for us, Wait, sorry, Stephanie. You can go first. I think for us, we this year was especially interesting because I think that we've been around for 10 years now. It's our 10-year anniversary this year, which is very exciting, which means that we're pretty established on campus.
Mhm.
But we also have grown a lot in the past couple of years. And so I think that this year I noticed that like a lot of our systems that we had in place were kind of better suited for a club that was at an earlier stage in its development than we are right now at. And so we kind of kept running into issues. Like one example was with recruitment in the fall. We got like a record number of applicants, and our system just wasn't we just weren't able to even like deliberate over every applicant because we didn't have enough time because the way that we were doing our recruitment was the same as it had been for like several years when we got like half as many applications. So like stuff like that, and like and also for example our we have these internal committees where there's like a group of members that kind of like support and are on the team of all the board members. And so, like for example, we have like the professional development committee and the internal events committee, and usually those committees have like two or three people helping out. But this year, every committee had at least like five, six people on it, which is like again twice as much interest as we've ever had in joining committees. So that was definitely kind of a challenge. I think that we tried we improved our recruitment from fall to winter just by like kind of thinking of different ways that we could like make like the earlier resume round more efficient in reading applications to like spend less time on every like deliberation. So we tried doing things like that, and then like with our committees, we kind of tried to do like subcommittees within committees to have like people that are working on specific tasks and are not just like sitting around doing nothing. So we definitely tried to kind of like work in ways of breaking down systems to be like more efficient because right now that just it's like the volume is too high. But that's like a big priority going into next year, I think, for the new board is knowing how much interest we have both from applicant side and then internally in getting involved, kind of how do we rethink systems to like be able to work with that amount of interest and amount of people that want to get involved. So that was definitely one of our bigger challenges this year for sure.
That's nice.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with what Beatrice and Samantha have said. Like both of these things have been like huge challenges for us, and definitely like the scaling issue. This year we also had a record number of applicants in both our strategy department and our legal department, and definitely in our legal department. So where we do only legal projects for our clients. We started the year off with only one partner. And we doubled our number of projects, and we really wanted to support the incoming student consultants in a very like in the same way that we did before. So our legal directors actually worked tirelessly to find new partners, and we were actually able to close up actually to kind of start the year even with three legal partners to support our students with workshops, with one-on-one coachings. So that was a very stressful period because we had all these applications coming in, and we're like, okay, we still want them to be able to benefit from one-on-one coaching from like an established legal firm, but we don't have any left, so we kind of need some more. So they did a lot of cold calling, a lot of meetings with different law firms, and we were able to get three extra on board. So that was great. And then our strategy department, I remember that we had so many very talented applicants, which we really wanted to onboard in some kind of way, but we only had so many projects. And then our consulting directors actually came up with another project where they had reached out to a client, but we actually had kind of postponed that project to the next term. But we were like, can we make it work? Because we really want this project to kind of get more people to have this amazing 180 DC experience. And then we actually had to ask one of our strategy partners if they were able to maybe coach two projects, and they were super willing to do that. So for us, it was like scaling and then having partner issues, but it all was resolved in the end, and it worked out great.
Amazing. So I think like one common theme that I can like what I can understand from what all of you are saying is the high influx of uh, applications that you receive year on year, and obviously the projects not being able to match that volume. So one question that I've always had, like for all the branches, so do you guys think that the applicants that 180 predominantly gets are from people who want to get into consulting, who want to get a feel of consulting before, stepping out into the real world? Or are there like people who are truly passionate about social impact and they want to contribute something meaningful? So 180DC is like an intersection of both, like we do both. So how do you guys like kind of, spot the right person? And yeah, so what's the mix like for you guys in your branches? Like, yeah. Yeah, anyone can just go on.
Okay. I think it's a bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
There's the members, they definitely do want to see and learn how the consulting world
Mm-hmm.
actually is like, but um, they also knew that they were working on a project without getting any pay.
Yeah.
So they definitely knew that, oh, as big as 180DC is, we're still a student-led consulting organization, and we
Mm-hmm.
focus on a social-led driven clients.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's definitely a bit of both. Like they want to do good, they want to contribute to the social world, but they also want to learn more about consulting. I think that is also why in our branch we decided to also do like a research team. So outside of the consulting team, we also opened a research team where we decided to do projects entirely based on research about an issue and in our country, in Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, fast fashion that is happening. One of the case that we did was about fast fashion, and then we interact with a local producer, cotton producer in Indonesia, and see what kind of things that we did, and then we also consult to one of our professor to do better than that. In that case, in that specific case, it wasn't actually consulting; it was more of
Mm-hmm.
a research.
Mm-hmm.
But what we try to do is we try to open as many channels as possible for them to actually try to learn consulting and then to do good, like to contribute socially and to do both. So that I think that would be it for our branch.
Nice.
Yeah, I think we definitely get a mix of applicants, but we make it very clear in our consultants like selection procedure or application process that being very engaged, being motivated, having a social impact mindset remains our number one criterion. We're
Mm-hmm.
really looking for people who aspire to drive genuine change, and that's like our most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
We want people that are curious, eager to grow. We definitely get that being in 180 allows you to also come into contact with firms, and that it's a great thing on your resume, and it
Yeah.
allows you to have some experience
Ab-
before you would maybe enter into the real consulting world. But for us, the most important factor is definitely that motivation. And that's the one thing that we're looking for in our application procedure. Are you motivated? Are you a team player? Are you curious, eager to grow? These are all things that were very important to us.
Yeah, definitely. I would also kind of echo that and say that I feel like we get a lot of applicants that are very clearly interested in consulting and business. And that's like not a bad thing per se, but I think that like we always like to see that they have something on the resume that's like social impact oriented. Like if they've even just done volunteer work before or they started some initiative in high school or whatever it is, like if they have done anything related to impact, like that does carry a lot of weight for us. I think also one of our kind of philosophies that we go by in recruitment is like, do they have good business acumen?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's kind of like a good indicator that they're going to be a good team, a good member of a team, like they're going to do their work and they're going to be do it well. I would say like that it's almost like business acumen and social impact are like more important than if they have had like all these impressive business experiences already. Because like, or if they know how to like case super well. Like casing is important, but at the end of the day, like you can teach people how to case, but you can't teach them how to be passionate about social impact
Yeah.
or how to have like basic kind of business sense. So I feel like that's kind of where the balance lies for us is like what can you teach versus what can't you teach them once they're in the club. So
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And also in Ghent, we have other consulting
Mhm.
clubs. So we always also try to look for the why. Why us? Why 180?
Yeah.
And that's a very telling question. And that's just an important one for us to know if you're a real team player and if you know what we're about. And then that's something we're looking for in the procedure.
yeah, I'm gonna also echo that and say like I think like we do always ask the question like why 180 throughout the whole process, like in our application and coffee chats, etc. And that's because like we do really prioritize people that like understand what we do and have taken the time to talk to our members and read up on us and like really like try to understand as much as they can from an outside point of view about like what it is that we actually do and like who we are as a club. And so the more the applicants know about us and can show that they actually like have an understanding of the club as opposed to just someone who's like cold applying to all the clubs, like that
Mhm.
definitely holds weight for us. And like we do see when people are putting in a lot of effort to learn about us, and we love that.
Absolutely. I think another point that I've noticed, so I'm in school as well, so there are a lot of consulting clubs. There's a lot of different variations of consulting clubs in each college. So it's important to like, keep ourselves separate from all that. We have a different motto, different ethos, different objective. So that's amazing that you guys have that clear set in stone that this is what we're looking for in our applicants. So that's interesting to know. So moving on, like this is going to be like an interesting question for you to, so it would be interesting for me to pick your brains on it. So, if you could collaborate across regions. So, now in this call, we have people from EMEA, Americas, and APAC. So, if you could collaborate on one global initiative, wh- what kind of challenge would you want to solve together? Or like an event, anything, but something global.
I would actually love to work on financial literacy
Okay.
and digital inclusion for youth. Because there's still, I would say, because I'm from APAC, like in Southeast Asia region, I believe that we could definitely do better in um those areas.
Mm-hmm.
And then we actually try our best. Like we did had this ongoing work, um like research repository. That is something that we did, and then we put it in the web so that if people do actually want to learn, feel free to use our resources that we already create. And then there's also one HTC Academy in case they want to learn more about consulting or if they want to learn more about social lead-driven act. Um, so we believe our branch believe that if there's a solid base to co-create like educational resources, that would be possible to democratize those access. I
Yeah.
think it would be awesome to start small, but then we could do it like step by step, like scaling very small but like progressively. I think it would be nice to have like those collaborations that could definitely elevate local impact for like from a very small local impact to like a global movement in general.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it would be fun to do some sort of case comp where like the teams are split between like on one team there's like it's like half of one branch and half of the other, or even like
Mhm.
if there's like four branches involved in this case comp and like each team is like one member from each branch. Like I feel like as much as we can, I know we've tried to do like joint like client engagements before, but those have been t difficult because they're obviously longer scale. But I think like a 1 week case comp or something where you could, have that collaboration between branches for a consulting question, but make it kind of a shorter scale
Mhm.
might work better. But yeah, that'd be interesting to see kind of like how the different branches, like how people from different branches collaborate best and what ideas everyone comes up with. Because I think they like being just working within your own branch can feel small at times. So it would be
Yeah,
interesting to see kind of how where the ideas go and when it's like a global perspective on things.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that 180 Antwerp in Belgium is working on. It's like a Belgian initiative of all the branches within Belgium collaborating on a case comp. So if we could kind of get that to a higher level, that would be great. And maybe that's something that I've always wondered. It would be really cool to have like a forum between branches just to ask help about projects. Like imagine that you're stuck somewhere and you're like, hi, is there a branch who has done this already? Or maybe like asking for resources. That would be really great. And just like some kind of like Facebook or just like a forum that people can post on in a very easy way. I know we have like the WhatsApp groups, but
Mm.
it would be handy if we could have like a whole overview of people answering to questions and just like a Q&A kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, like, I think like Stephanie and Samantha like mentioned, like it would be great to have, like a global repository sort of thing going on where anybody around the world can access some information. Like I know, like some of the files are like classified under NDA and whatnot, but if anything at all, like some frameworks that you guys have worked on specific issues, if you could put that out on the open and anyone around the world as a part of 180 can access that, that would be great. Like it would be a resource that everyone can, share and collaborate with. And also, like Beatrice said, like if like UGM is working on all these initiatives on like financial literacy and all that, they could like put out a document on how they did that, how they executed that, program, and anybody could have a look at it and replicate it in their branch, and it would make things like much easier and faster. So that's something that's for us, I think, to also like look into. We'll definitely see if that's something that we can put together, and it's obviously going to improve everybody's experience in 180. So yeah, amazing. So moving on to like our global awards spotlight. So as we all know, we have in this call three winners of our most famous global awards. So yeah, your branches were globally recognized last year. So once again, a huge, huge congratulations for that. And looking back, like throughout the year, throughout of last year, so what do you think most contributed to that recognition? Because obviously we have around 170 branches going around worldwide, and we have so many applicants with all the projects and everything that we have for global awards. So why do you think your branch stood out and won, basically?
I think that like I said before, I think that we've been around for a while. We have a lot of great systems. I feel like everything we do, or at least we try to do this, is to be as intentional as possible. And we have like a reason for everything we do and like a system for everything. And like nothing is ever too like haphazard, I would say. So I would say we're a very intentional branch, and that really comes through in our awards because I feel like you can clearly see the impact of everything that we decide to do. And if something isn't working, we pivot, like we know how to pivot. And we're also not afraid to like acknowledge when we have to pivot too. So I feel like we're very transparent and we're very intentional. And I feel like those two things kind of come through a lot in our awards and kind of in the work that we do. That's kind of a vague answer, but I can get more I can get more into the details if you would like, but
Yeah, we'll go into it, but yeah,
yeah.
like overview is what I'm like looking for, like values, yeah, everything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Samantha. We have like this three pillar system, and where everything we do, we try to stay true to our values, true to our three pillars. Always think about like every event that we're organizing. We really want to fit it within our whole vision scheme. And I also think for our branch, we were very lucky to have a great ecosystem. We had a really great community. We had great support from our university, like from other student organizations. We have our fantastic partners, our fantastic clients. I think we had a really great ecosystem that
Mhm.
made all of our impact um, really drive change for our clients, but also for our broader community. And I think that might be something what made us stand out. I don't know. I haven't seen
Yeah.
the evaluation file, so
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
I definitely agree with both Stephanie and Samantha. Internally, we build systems, and I think that is what's very important. The system definitely kept us in line of what we were doing, because of course we had planned, but then in the middle of the execution, there's something going on that might change our plans. But because we had the system, we could mitigate like those things that might happen unexpectedly. And then I would also agree with Samantha about intentionality. There's
Mhm.
definitely a combination of execution and then being intentional of what partner we aim to have collaboration with, what kind of clients that we want to approach, and then what kind of analyst members, consultant that we want to recruit. I think those things being planned and being executed with intention, I think that's very important, and that would be the one that sort of made our branch like stood out a bit more than
Amazing.
other branches.
Yeah, amazing. So, how do you think your team like approached the global awards process? Like, so was there a deliberate strategy like through the year that okay, the global awards are coming, so we need to, get our horses up and running. What exactly did you all like um uh was there like a specific strategy that you guys used to, apply to global awards intentionally, like you all said? And yeah, did it like change your existing way of working that, oh, we need to apply to global awards? Or was that just like, a day-to-day thing and you had put in your best foot forward for the awards?
I think for us it was definitely an organic thing.
Mm-hmm.
We learned a lot from our application last year. We also applied for the Global Awards, and we went through the rounds and we saw all of the other like branches presenting in the end, and we took a lot of time to reflect on that, on ways how we could improve our branch, and we just strive to become a better branch. And I don't think I don't think there was like a certain strategy for us to try to win the global
Mm-hmm.
awards. I just think we were trying to do our best and kind of take all of the good practices from the other branches, incorporate them into our own systems, into our own inner workings, and then we just were very proud of everything we had accomplished that year and tried to share it, and it worked out in the end. So that was really great to hear.
That's nice.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. I guess at first, yeah, there's not really like there's not really a deliberate strategy. We were just simply doing what felt impactful and right, like building on the momentum from the previous batch, and then we were trying to raise the bar a bit further. And then because we've always focused on social driven clients, um, we felt like we could create more meaningful changes through them. But that being said, at the start of our term, like at the very beginning of our term, we did intentionally targeted more sustainability focused events and initiatives. Um, uh, they weren't really done because of the awards, but then we realized that they did actually align with the rubric. So, oh well, that's nice. Um,
That's
but
nice.
toward the end, I would say we became more strategic about documentation and storytelling,
Mm-hmm.
making sure that the materials that we submit truly captured the essence of our work. Um, so I would say that again, I would agree with Stephanie. It really wasn't. It's not separate from like an award campaign, but rather more of like a reflection of what we values and then what we did, what we had already built to into our branch culture.
Yeah, I would agree with both of you. I think that also we kind of treat the awards as like a natural kind of mile marker every year. I think it's a really helpful program to kind of like check ourselves and see how we've progressed from the previous year to this year, and maybe what areas we want to improve on for the next year based on like kind of as we're filling it out, seeing what we think could be better. So yeah, I feel like the awards are just kind of like a natural thing that we do every year, both to kind of engage with GLT and to showcase our progress and hopefully win. But yeah, I would say like we don't necessarily have like a strategy to win. Like we're just doing our best. And one of my thoughts that I was having as we were applying last year was obviously you want to win, and that would be amazing if we did win, but if we don't win, that means that another branch will win, and that means that like 180 is like progressing, and like branches are doing great, and like we
Mhm.
should celebrate the work of the branches that win, because that means that like we're as a large organization we're improving, and that's kind of the end goal. Is like we're all, even though we're all kind of competing for the awards, we're also all on the same team at the
Mhm.
end of the day. And so I feel like that mindset is good to have when you're applying for the awards every year.
Absolutely. And I think in the end, that's the end goal. Like we're all in the same team, like you rightly said, Samantha. So we're just happy that, we have different award winners like across the years, which really reflects our global growth as an organization. So that's super nice to see. Like, and yeah, so how did you guys as branch presidents, how did you all involve your wider branch in the global award submission process? So how did you bring everybody together to apply and yeah.
Um, I would say that our awards application is primarily done by the board. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and over the summer, it's our new board for the next year. So they've kind of just recently assumed their positions. So they're kind of getting caught up to speed a little bit. And sometimes they'll ask like the previous board members about things if they can't find records of things. So like usually it's like the current board, maybe the prior board is kind of involved if needed. And then for the consulting awards, like obviously the team that like we were like one of the finalists for the consulting awards,
Mm-hmm.
um, like in the application process, and so we had our team that like did the one that we like put up as our best work. We had the team present to the GLT, so like that was, I think, a good opportunity for like general members who weren't on board to be involved in the process. But I would say in general, it's usually a board heavy effort.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, kind of the same for us. We did try to involve our consultants in the process by asking them for feedback and things that they thought were important to include. Also trying to celebrate all of the like small wins within each team for each client. Because we submitted a deck basically giving an outline of all of the projects we've done, and we asked the consultants and the consulting directors um, like what do you want to highlight from this project? What are you really proud of? And we put that on the slides. And we also asked our consultants to provide testimonials, things that they thought were really important. And if they had anything to say, we put their literal testimonial in our deck. And I think that was a great way also for us as a board to reflect on our year, because you get continuous feedback throughout the year, but then at the end, if you're really submitting your application, you can see all of the work you've done kind of coming together and then involving your branch members, the consultants. It's just a lovely way to see how they kind of reflect on that experience and what they thought of it. So that's it's a board effort, but we try to incorporate the wins of our consultants as well and their feedback and testimonials.
Yeah, I did agree. It is definitely a board heavy effort initiative, more of those, but um, we did try our best to make sure that their reflections are being heard. Because so through the survey and then like report that we did, we try to use those insights as the foundation of what we submitted. So that way, the members, they could also be included in the part of the submission itself. And I would say that everyone actually was looped into brainstorming, data sharing, and reviewing materials because those work and project that we submitted, it was the work of all of us. So even though in the submission process it was like board heavy, it was definitely like something that the board do, but like the actual project itself, it was not only done by the board, it was by all of the people. So that I think that's how it is. But yeah, it's pretty similar, I think, from all of our
Yeah.
branches.
Yeah, it's interesting to like figure out that even though you're all in like different regions, your way of working most, I mean, in most cases is very, very similar. So that's super interesting to hear. And coming to the more about the application process. So what was sort of the most challenging part of the entire application process for your branch? Is there anything that you found was, oh, this looks a bit tricky for us to get through? Anything of that sort?
Maybe for me, it would be because by the time that we did the preparation for the global awards, I was no longer the president. So
Okay.
there, so there was a lot of recollections and then coordination and then collective memory work. So
Hmm.
that is definitely something that is quite challenging on our part. Um, uh, I'm very grateful that our team did like we used a Google Drive and then it was documented really well by the team. But it
Hmm.
was yeah, it was quite at first it was a bit, oh my God, it has been quite some time since I used this drive, you know? So that, and then I would say that the other challenge would be time and burnout because the submission season was for both the award and for the academics.
Yeah.
So yeah, so all of the board members, we were also running out of time with finals going around and an assignment. But thankfully, because we had delegation and batch production of deliverables, and then um, we did had like an agreement since the very beginning that we would respect each other's works. Thankfully, we overcame with a very strong collaboration between the previous and the current board and the new board after us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the most challenging aspects for us was aligning everyone's schedules. Luckily, we were not in finals season when we had to submit our applications, but it was during the summer, so people were on holiday, people were doing internships, people were abroad. So it was for us, it was just a hard time trying to schedule like when everyone would work on it because we wanted to have the input of the consulting directors, but then they had to have discussions with the legal directors, and it was like a whole mess to organize that. But I'm very glad that in the end it all came together, even though there was definitely a scheduling effort needed there.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna kind of echo Beatrice here and say that it was a little bit of a challenge to find some of like the older records that we were trying to access. Like, I think like maybe we bit off more than we could chew with this, but like we tried to kind of uh like compare how we were doing things like a few years ago because I know like one of the questions was like how have you improved like on the KPIs or whatever, and so we were trying to like look back on like a bunch of old like spreadsheets and documents and things that were like I don't think that we did a great job of documenting things a few years
Hmm.
ago. So it was a little challenging. We had to like reach out to some like prior presidents, which was like probably not great. So yeah, I would say that then as a result of that kind of challenge, I developed a KPI tracker within our board that's still kind of could probably be better. But at least it was like a way where we could just kind of we could track like attendance for like events and just like applications and demographics and just like things that we would probably need to access for like future awards. So I feel like that's a good practice that we kind of started to implement more this year was tracking more and like gathering more information and like actually documenting it in a way that is easier to access than maybe has been done in the past. So that was definitely a challenge, I would say, for the awards. Yeah.
Amazing. So yeah, I think like documentation is like a global pandemic for everybody here, be it in like corporate or YEDC. So even we face like a lot of documenting issues in the GLT as well. So you want to see some case that was taken in 2019, which was for a company, you want to get that. It's super hard if it's not documented. So that's definitely something that we're all like looking to push and improve. So, what advice would you give? So, yeah, what advice would you give to branches like in this coming year, since you're all winners, to prepare for their global award submissions? Any like specific do's and don'ts, piece of advice from each one of you for upcoming applicants for this year?
I like to start early. So
I was going to say the same thing, start on time. It's so cliche, but start on
Yeah,
time.
document everything as you go. That would be like very important.
absolutely. Anything apart, like obviously starting up on time, any strategy, any I know you guys said like there is no specific strategies, just do your best, but anything for the application process, how to, formulate a team around it, like is there any structure that branches could follow? So, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I kind of have some thoughts here. So, as I mentioned, like the board is primarily the ones that actually write the application and do all the content for it. So, I would say like if you're a president listening to this right now, or even if you're a board member, like try to think of a way like what we do is like I as the president kind of like sat down and went through all the prompts and everything and kind of like I made like a document that had all the different sections that they were asking about and I kind of thought off the top of my head like what are all the things that we need to cover on our branch's side as someone who kind of has like the most high level knowledge of the branch. And then I kind of like assigned out all the different little like parts. Like I would put like, okay, so in like the community question, like here's who needs to do what. Like we need to have my internal events director talk about socials. I need to have the PD director talk about like the mentorship program and like what like I kind of just like outlined everything for the board and then I just assigned people to where they needed to be put their stuff. So it's all about kind of finding and it's going to be different for every branch depending on like what programs you have and where they fit into which pillar of the awards. So figure out kind of like where your work and your branch fits within the questions before you start writing it. And then I also would just say, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, like kind of don't assume that the people that are reading, like the GLT that's gonna be reading your answers, knows what you're talking about when you mention
Mhm.
like a certain program of yours or like an event of yours. Like you may have to do more explaining than you think you have to do because some things might be really intuitive or think that you think that they might not need explanation because like it's common sense, but some things might not be common sense to people who are not part of your branch. So think about kind of if you need to perhaps over-explain or explain things that you think are just kind of baseline, because that could be the difference between advancing to the next round or not. You know, if you kind of if people are confused about what you're writing about. So definitely be clear and explain things thoroughly for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, one thing, and I agree with Samantha said, but one thing that I might have done differently in definitely the first round is get everyone, oh, sorry, get everyone together and kind of try to align on your like North Stars. I feel like what are the key things that you want the GLT to take away from your application? Because now when I think back on our application, I think we kind of sometimes got lost into the details and nitty-gritty. We wanted to mention everything. And I do think that sometimes you just have to have like a very strong story based on key points that you're proud of to get through like the first round and not like overload them with information and just like keep it structured and have like a few key things that you want them to know. Um, I think.
Absolutely. So, I think, yeah, that brings us to the end of the global awards section. Like, just like moving on to like final closing thoughts for um, this episode. So, just in one word, how would you describe your journey as a 1ADC leader? Like, now that you're all passing out from 1ADC, just one word for the entire experience. Oh, yeah.
Maybe growth.
Mhm.
I think um I've grown so much over the past few years being part of 180DC. Um, I've learned so many new things. I've met so many great people. I've had such a great impact. I've met so many new clients, had
Mhm.
great projects with them, and I think just like I've grown a lot over the years throughout this experience.
Amazing.
Yeah, I would say resilience,
Hmm.
because I think that it's, you're going to face challenges. It's an organization where we're doing like real work in the real world. And so there's going to be real challenges that come with that. And I don't think that I would be like where I am today in my life without 180. So I definitely kind of attribute a lot of my personal and professional growth and resilience to being in 180.
I think for me it would be transformative because like personally I went through like a full circle journey like from project analyst and project leader and then eventually taking the role of president. But for generally for the organization itself, we also experienced significant growth. Like we onboarded more clients, we had more teams being launched, and then we also had new initiatives and then more events going on. So it wasn't really just about leading others. It was about, I would say, evolving, like constantly evolving, like doing progress, both as a branch and as a person as well.
Perfect. And also, like, what is everyone like looking forward to, like, now that you're all like YDC alumni, like in your personal life in the upcoming year? And yeah, and your message to your branch as well, like, what would you want them to like carry forward? So, yeah, two different questions. What are you looking forward to in the upcoming year now that you're all like graduated from, let's not say graduated, but you're all like YDC alumni? And yeah, what are you looking forward to your branch doing differently this year? Or, yeah, yeah, anyone could just like start up.
I guess I can start. I guess I'm looking forward to being an advisor. So prior presidents who are still students get to be advisors, and so that looks like, you know, uh, helping younger members with their projects, like being kind of a senior advisor in that sense, or being like a mentor to younger members, maybe picking up. But I already have three littles, so maybe I'll pick up a fourth little. I don't know. It's gonna have a lot of children. But yeah, definitely kind of mentorship and being an advisor in that way. And then I would say also I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the branch kind of continue to grow both in volume and in systems, and definitely kind of continue to make the impact that we've made for 10 years. Yeah, I feel like we're definitely at kind of a turning point in our branch, and we're like much more established on campus and people are familiar with us. And so I'm looking forward to seeing kind of where the next board takes kind of that energy and that kind of momentum that we've built up over the past few years in growing on campus. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I agree with everything Samantha has said. And really specifically for the Ghent branch, we have two departments. We have our strategy department and we have our legal department where we have like law students advising our clients just on like purely legal related topics. And the legal department has always been like the little brother of the strategy department. But last year we nearly got them even. So like having like the same number of projects on like not really the same number of partners, but we hope to get that one day. And I'm really excited to see where my successors take it. I've already had a quick peek at who's the following president, and I have so much faith in them, and I think they're going to do a great job. And I'm really excited to see how the legal department is going to evolve. Even though I'm not a law student, I think we've done a lot of work, and it would be so great if we would have like two departments that would be able to like give a holistic offering to our clients.
Yeah, I definitely agree with both Samantha and Stephanie. I'm very much looking forward to see them grow in general. Specifically for EGEM, just like to grow both as in volume and in the quality as well. But I'm also very much looking forward because last time I heard they were actually trying to initiate collaboration between branches in Indonesia, like all of the branches in Indonesia. I'm not really sure about the progress on how advanced they were at the progress itself, but I'm very much looking forward to the initiatives and events that would be launched from that collaboration. I think it would be nice to see like a collaboration from like different branches. Like we could start nationally and then maybe globally. Like who knows? We'll just hope for the best.
Amazing. So, thank you so much, guys, for joining. It was a super insightful and collaborative conversation. It really felt like you guys know each other from long ago. You're all like childhood friends. Like the chemistry was good between you guys, I would say. So, thank you all for joining. It was super inspiring for me personally, also to like hear all your stories on how you brought your branch along from from the ground up. You all have been there for quite some time in each of your branches, and to see it grow from where it was is truly inspiring for all of us, and that's what we like to see from the GLT as well. So, yeah, any closing thoughts from all of you, and then obviously we can end our episode.
Yeah, I just want to thank the GLT for putting this all together. It was a great conversation. Love talking with Stephanie and Beatrice. And
Yeah.
if anyone's listening to this from an Americas branch or from any branch at all, best of luck with the awards. And just best of luck with the next year ahead. Can't wait to see what everyone gets up to.
Totally agree with Samantha just said. And also like huge congrats to all of us. We've done a great job, and I'm just really excited to see what's going to happen with 180 in the following years, and I'll keep following.
Yeah, I guess I'll just I'll agree with
Mm.
the both of you. Congratulations and thank you very much for making this happen. It's very nice talking to all of you.
Amazing. So thank you so much for joining, guys, and hope to see all of you rooting for 180 in the coming years. So yeah, have a great rest of the day.